Hello everyone and welcome to another video talking geeky stuff with me, Tianxi, and today's topic is an actor focus. This time is about one of the coolest actors of my generation, Chow Yun Fat, or Chow Yun Fat in Cantonese. Just like my last previous video on actor focus was Stephen Chow, or Zhou Xingqi. Funny, isn't it? They both have the same surnames. So anyway, Chow Yun Fat, like I said, one of the coolest actors. He does mostly famous for his action movies, really, especially the gunplay ones. And he's known for his movie with Zhongbu. He's done 5 in total with him. Awesome movies, by the way, so definitely check them out. So, just like most Hong Kong actors of that time, he came from doing TV first. I didn't really appreciate a lot of his TV stuff because he was a little bit before my time. His most famous TV show was called Song Hui Tan. I'm not really sure what it is officially called in English. And the story revolves around the 1930s in Shanghai at that time. And because Shanghai at that time was, how do you say it, is of course is a capital, one of the capitals of China, financial capital, all that stuff. It's also back then was known for a lot of gangsters. Gangsters kind of up and coming at the time. So he's known for that, and his name in that TV show is called Hui Menkong. And, so he plays that kind of gangster leader, honorable. He wasn't really a bad guy or a good guy, kind of like anti-hero, which, become his, kind of like Chow Yun Fat's kind of trademark, really. He never really played a straight out bad guy or straight out good guy, really. There was always kind of shade of grey in his films. And his character in that TV show, spoiler alert, if you are going to check it out, is he gets shot up by loads of, I think they were Tommy guns, shot him up like 50 times or something like that, which later became, another spoiler alert, famous in I Better Tomorrow, if you've seen that. So he kind of, because of that kind of performance, he kind of went on to do movies, and that's where I really kind of got introduced to Chow Yun Fat, was from the movies, because a lot of Hong Kong Chinese actors, I knew them from TV first, then into movies. So, I knew Chow Yun Fat from like the early 80s, done a couple of kind of dramas here, romantic comedies here, but I never really got me, for a few reasons. I was probably too young to really appreciate that, and it was not really my cup of tea, so to speak, right? And it was around 86. That's when Chow Yun Fat really got me. Not just got me, he kind of took Hong Kong by storm that time. And before I go into 86 and why he took the Hong Kong by storm, let me just backtrack a little bit. Because if it was in the 80s, late 70s, or even the 70s all the way to the early 90s, I would say kind of like from 70s to the early 90s, kind of like a triple period. You had the Shaw Brothers in the 70s, slowly kind of declining a little bit. Then you had the rise of Golden Harvest, kind of come in a bit more. If you go back in time and talk to Hong Kong producers and so on, about I'm going to make an action movie, the first thing that in their mind would be, okay, martial arts, kung fu movies, so that was action. Because if you think about Hong Kong at that time, it was just an island. It's not the biggest place. It's really hard to get permits to film here and there, just the way it is. And not like today where mainland China itself, one of the richest countries in the world, who's pumping so much money into the movie industry and have plenty of space to film on location and so on. Back then, China was a totally different place than it is now. So in a way, Hong Kong was like the Hollywood of Asia, Southeast Asia, right? And so when you think of action, you will think of always martial arts, hand-to-hand combat, Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Yuen Biao kind of films. Coming off the back of Bruce Lee's death, the rise of Golden Harvest and so on, right? And then of course they didn't want to kind of, Hong Kong cinema didn't have money like Hollywood. They didn't have the space to film, especially like guns and everything, because in Hong Kong there's strict laws about that. So you could just hire a street and start shooting the place up, just like America. And they didn't have the budget either. And also at the time as well, a lot of Hong Kong audience wasn't into that kind of action. They love watching American style action, but homegrown stuff, they want to just watch what they know. And producers will only produce films that they know, which is martial arts. That's what Oriental people do best, right? Hong Kong people just martial arts, fighting here, fighting there. You kill my family, I kill you back, so to speak, right? That's what it's all about, and come up with all these funky styles of martial arts and so on. And then, of course, long came Chow Yun Fat and other directors slowly started to bring in kind of like the Western style of action, explosion, gunplay, and so on, right? So yeah, Chow Yun Fat, he was one of the tallest Asian actors of that time, coming 6'2", about 6'2". Because if you think about Hong Kong actors, or just Chinese people in general, what do? We average 5'7", 5'8". So he's coming at 6'2", right? And I remember he say in an interview where he doesn't do martial art movies because he doesn't think he looks good in it, because his his height doesn't kind of favor that. So he kind of stuck with handguns, guns in general. So anyway, this kind of went off track a little bit. So go back to what made '86 so significant for Chow Yun Fat was 2 films: I Bet Tomorrow and City on Fire. So that's not only took Hong Kong and Asia by storm. Of course, I become a big fan of his after that. '86, you had I Bet Tomorrow, directed by John Woo. Because John Woo, I might do a video about that as well later on, because John Woo actually came from the martial arts directing background. He just kind of changed, into a full-blown guns, explosion kind of director. And his first really attempt was I Bet Tomorrow. Well, he did one before that. I can't remember what it's called, those. Didn't go down too well, but I Bet Tomorrow was his first one. And when I saw that, I was blown away by it, because there was action before that, and Chow Yun Fat was in a couple of them, but they were always a bit. If you're a fan of Hong Kong cinema and you watch, say, action films, try maybe watch on YouTube, maybe some little clips here and there, right? Watch action films from 83, 84, 85, and then you watch the John Woo films. You can see the action. There was a slight difference. Was John Woo's emphasis on action was not just making the characters look cool. The set piece is awesome, slow motion, 2 guns, Mexican standoff. He made the guns, the impact. He was deadlier, he was more powerful, and so on. I don't want to turn this talk into a John Woo talk, which I'll probably do later on. Chow Yun Fat in that film he wasn't really his film, he's more a supporting role. It was the main actor was I think called Dick Long. He was the main actor. Chow Yun Fat was more like right hand man, but he kind of stole the show because he had the probably the coolest character, long jacket, 2 guns. He had an awesome corridor scene. You gotta check that out. His name was called Mark, or in Canton we call it Mark Gore. That film blew up. It was the biggest film of that year, if I remember correctly. Everybody went out and purchased a long jacket just to be like him, with the shades, the toothpick, set a trademark for that. And of course, City on Fire, which I think came out later on, was directed by Ringo Lam, which was also another Chow Yun Fat collaborator, director. City on Fire was, I would say, his first proper starring role. I mean, he was a lead actor before, but this one I'm talking about proper. I think he won Best Actor for that. Him and Daniel Lee, they work well together. Daniel Lee is another really underrated actor as well, which I may do another video about him as well. And that film was good. He is more, like I said, Ringo Lam has a different style to John Woo, which I may talk another video about as well. Well, there's a lot of videos I'm already coming up with already. So, City on Fire was the basis of Quentin Tarantino. He was the basis of his Where There's Wild Dogs. So that is why 86 Chow Yun Fat just became the biggest actor. Then of course he went on to do like Better Tomorrow 2, Better Tomorrow 3. Then of course The Killer, another awesome film. And Once a Thief, Hardboiled, international release that got. Then of course he did. Then of course he had other directors like Wong Jing coming in. Started doing God of Gamblers, a few comedy ones as well. Definitely. Speaking about that, so hope you like that little gun shot. Talking about Wong Jing movies that he did with him, Chow Yun Fat was such a versatile actor. I mean, he's known for his action films, the big boss, the gangster, or a copper, police officer. Like Hardball, for example, plays a tequila, police officer. Tiger on the Beat, another good action comedy. But he was also known for he's done romantic comedy. He's done comedy in general. You should definitely check out some of his comedy things like Romancing Star, Eighth Happiness, which he did with Mr. Wong. I can't remember what his first name is. It's called Mr. Wong, the guy in glasses. He does, like, once a year they do a film where they get like up and coming stars, big movie stars, big singers, whatever they was famous for that year or something. They will get them together, make these films for the Chinese New Year, kind of like a family film, And in the past, you got Stephen Chow did it, Andy Lau did ones, a few of them, Chow Yun Fat, Leslie Cheung, rest in peace. So he did all of that, and then of course, in the recent years, he started doing a lot more. He did a lot more period dramas. I mean, he did famously the character what's his name? Li Wubai from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. He played the evil emperor of the Curse of the Golden Flowers, Assassins. So he is such a versatile actor. He won, at that time, he was probably the biggest actor, the coolest actor, of course, and probably the best actor as well, because he's won many, many acting awards. Anyway, I love that sound. Anyway, please give this video a like, if you like it, of course, and please consider subscribing, and let me know, are you into Chow Yun Fat movies? And if you are, which ones are your favorite? I would say, if I had to recommend, for especially for the Western audience is something easy to get in. I would say The Killer is a one-off amazing movie. Hardboiled, that is a Hardboiled is probably the most action-packed film. So two Chow Yun Fat films with John Woo, those two I would say be pretty good to get into. And then I'll probably say maybe watch a Ringo Lam film, maybe like Full Contact. That is another good one as well. So those three I recommend, to get into Chow Yun Fat films, and then after that you pick and choose. Anyway, I'd like to say thank you, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're in the world. And please stay safe. Until next time, goodbye.